Barakatuhu, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Welcome, brothers and sisters from around the world. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, and I am traveling again and doing my best to keep up these live programs so that you can ask whichever question that you feel is going to be important. Of course, I'm your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, coming at you live. And in this BAK show, we address the issues which are important to you. So you'll have an opportunity to send in your questions, your comments, your concerns. This is what this show is all about. Brothers and sisters, we are in the 27th night of Ramadan. Is it amazing that it seems as if Ramadan, like every year, it just started? It seemed like just yesterday, I'm like, okay, all right, everybody, we got to get some stuff for Ramadan. And already we're talking about the Eid time coming. Well, if you haven't been giving it your all up until now, well, it's a good time to start. And there's no better time than the present. Everybody, we've got all kinds of stuff that's happening around the world. We've got Turkish protests, we've got the killings that continue in Gaza, and we've got just a madness in the Middle East. First of all, I want to just say something about what's happening in Turkey. Now, as everybody knows, the mayor of Turkey was arrested on charges of corruption. Then the secularists, who are his supporters, basically took to the streets, and then they started doing wild things like urinating on a masjid, mocking people who were praying. Now, look, let me say something here. I want to make sure that this is crystal clear. I don't agree with everything that Erdogan does. I don't. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But brother, I am going to tell you to you straight. I prefer Erdogan than these secularists who are a cancer to the Muslim Ummah and would absolutely love an opportunity to roll back Islamic gains that have been uh, gained during the time of Erdogan. I need that to be crystal clear. I don't want anybody to think that just because I criticize some of the policies of Erdogan, that means that, hey, you know what? Those secularists, they've got something, because they don't. They don't. And I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, be extremely careful of supporting those people. They are anti Islam, and they would love to roll back the Islamic gains. They'd love to have that. So, everybody, please be cognizant. The Israelis are watching because they bombed the T4 military air base here in Syria a couple of days ago. They continue to bomb air bases because they know that the Turks, they're very, very interested in coming in with their their missile defense systems, lending a hand to the new Syrian government, and the Israelis don't want that. Now, if they can foment discontent inside of Turkey, they'd be ecstatic behind that. So, everybody, once again, I'm not telling you to like everything that Erdogan does. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that these secularists, they are not the answer to anybody's problems. And that's the reality of the situation. In the Palestinian territories, oh, let me just let everybody know. Please, brothers and sisters, feel free to send in your questions, your comments, your concerns. We want to discuss the things which are important to you, and just feel free to just put it right there in the checkbox. Oh, okay, we've got something here from Simon, and I think we could just jump right into this right now. He says, "Hello, Bilal. Do you think Erdogan will fall from the protests?" No, I don't. I don't think that the protests. First of all, I don't think that Turkish people are that naive. That doesn't necessarily mean that they like everything that he says and he does. Once again, I want to make that clear. But I don't think that they're that naive to think that that these secularists are going to bring a positive change to the country. I just don't see that. No, I don't see it. Allah knows best. Um, uh, Oh, let's. Yes, I need to just talk to you for a brief moment. Then we're going to get back to your questions, your comments, and your concerns. Brothers and sisters, we need something from you. Come on, guys. I need your help big time tonight. This is the 27th night of Ramadan. We are working on a project, and it's called Voices of Truth. What's Voices of Truth? This is a project wherein we are documenting the atrocities that the Assad government carried out during their reign of terror. And we need your help so that we can be able to cover our costs. This is our crowdfunding page. Brothers, we don't want people coming back a year from now, 2 years from now, trying to whitewash the crimes of Bashar al Assad and his father. We need for people to be crystal clear by way of the interviews that we are conducting of people who were oppressed, family members who were disappeared, those who were starved in prison, and so on and so forth. We need these stories to come out, brothers and sisters. It's not enough just to show that there was bombing and such like that. We need to show people how the Assad family actually affected the Syrian people, and you can help us to do that by donating to our crowdfunding page, and that's on medina.com/voices of truth. Medina.com/voices of truth. Go on and take a look at our page, and you're going to get an idea in terms of what we are trying to do. This is the 27th night of Ramadan. We need your help, guys. All right. Now, let's get back to where we were. And okay. Ahmed jumps in and he says, um, Salam, Akhi. I appreciate your live videos. Wallahi, Akhi, I love to do them. Today was a very long day. We had meetings, we had people that we needed to see. We are moving around in the Homs area because we're working hard. We're going to make sure that this revolution is successful. That's what we're here for, brothers and sisters. So I slept for about an hour and a half and I'm back up and it's 4:23 in the morning and I'm in the best of spirits. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All right, next up, we've got here, where did it go? Okay, we've got We the Best 58 who says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, Habibi. I love you for the sake of Allah. May Allah bless and protect you and your family. Ameen. Ameen. I appreciate that. Okay, Ahmed says, can you see a situation where where Syria and Turkey merge into one stronger country? It would be a major threat to Israel, and Turkey would be a military Muslim power on its border. All right, guys, look, let's talk about that. Would I be happy to see something like that? Whoa, I would be ecstatic to see it. But not if Syria is going to adopt some of the secular policies of Turkey. Now, Erdogan is not a secularist. He's not. But they are more secular than Syria, who fought a jihad for 13 years. So we can't necessarily say that they're all on the same page because they're not. And that's okay. But as long as they are more affected by the Islamic side than we are affected by the secular side, because you got to keep in mind something. Erdogan has been pushing Islamic policies in a very secular society for many years now, for many years. But the reason he needed to push those policies is because they were very anti-Islamic, very pro-secular. So they haven't reached the Islamic level that many of the people here in Syria have reached. They haven't reached that level. So once again, we don't want to be affected by that secular part of it, but Turkey is a neighbor and has been a supporter of the revolution, and it would be great for them to jump in and to bolster some of the gains which have been made by this revolution. I think that that would be a good thing. And it would be a direct threat to the Israelis. Full stop. Going to be a direct threat to the Israelis because right now they're able to bomb with impunity. They're able to occupy Syrian territory, and they haven't seen any pushback. They're not going to be able to do that if the Turks are bringing in their ultra lethal drones and their drone warfare. So many countries have lined up to buy their drones to bolster their military. So the Turks are a military power, no ifs, no ands, or buts about it. Coupled with the Islamic fighters, which are here in Syria, would make a very, very lethal combination, particularly on the borders of the Israelis. And they know that very well. So I think it would be a good thing. I hope it happens. And but once again, we hope they're more affected than by us than we are by them. Okay. Okay, we've got here a comrade who says, Mr. Bilal, can we arrange a fan meeting in New Syria? Let's train together in Syria gym. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Let's do that. I try my best to train 5 days a week. I'm not always able to get to the gym, so sometimes I have to do some training at home, particularly leg day. I save leg day for the last day because if I'm not able to get to the gym for that, I can do a cheat at home by doing some high intensity exercises, for my legs and such like that. If I'm not able to get to the gym to do squats, but I do my best to try to do it. But hey, man, let's try to do that. Let's see what let's see what you got. We've got We the Best. Does China play a role in all of this? As far as I can see, the Chinese, and I'm assuming that you're talking about the situation that's taken place in Turkey. The Chinese would like to see more of the Uyghurs deported to China, but I'm just not seeing a Chinese footprint in this situation right now. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that they would be happy to see the Erdogan government fall so that they could take more advantage of the Uyghurs, which have sought refuge in in Turkey. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. But I'm not seeing a Chinese footprint as of yet, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala knows best. Primetime Plumbing is here and says, Salaam alaikum, Brother Bilal. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Al Jolani is showing a moderate image to the West, etc. However, I have a strong feeling he will attack the Yahud with the help of Turkey. What do you think? Okay, the first thing that you're saying is he's showing a moderate image to the West. In other words, I'm getting the impression that you're feeling that he's being deceptive, in that he's showing them a moderate image when he's not quote unquote moderate. I don't think that that's the case. I think that he is much more pragmatic than most people realize. Um, I'd like to see him hold on to those principles that gave him credibility years ago. Um, we're hoping that we're going to see that. We're asking Allah in this 27th night of Ramadan to guide our brother, Abu Muhammad Jolani, Ahmed Shara. It would be great to see that. But I think that the reality of the situation is that he may be more pragmatic than most people realize. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. He said it also goes on to say, however, I have a strong feeling he will attack the Yahud with the help of Turkey. Um, they would not start a battle with Israel. They would not initiate it. I could see them retaliating if they were pushed to the brink but they would not initiate it because basically they wouldn't have any other support. That doesn't mean don't think that they should do it. I'm just saying is that they wouldn't have the support of any other neighboring country should a hot war start between Turkey and Israel, featuring the Syrian fighters. So I don't think so. I don't think that that's going to happen in the near future. But I do think eventually it will happen, but not in the near future. All right. It says here, in return, Erdogan's Turkey doesn't use Islam to bring many pro-nationalist Muslim Kurds to bring them closer to Islamic project, but rather fans up Kurdish and Turkish nationalism by arbitrary shelling. Let's hope that we can move past this Kurdish militia, a Turkish situation. I'm really hoping for that. Um, Guys, I think it's time to move on. Abdullah Ajulan basically said that the fight is over and they should lay down their arms, but that the SDF, YPG, PKK here in Syria were not that affected by those statements, or at least we haven't seen it on the ground as of yet. Um, but I hope that the Kurdish people will look and see that, hey, it's time to move on. I hope that, I really do, because it'll just make a stronger Syria, perhaps even a stronger union between Syria and Turkey. I'm really hoping for that. Now, next up, Matt Shed says, Salam, brother Bilal, walaikum salam barakatuh. For U.S. to lift sanctions, they want to the Muhajirin out of Syria. Do you see this happening? Um, I think that that's a hard sell because Muhajirin are not just going to pack up their stuff and hand themselves over to the international community. So each and every last one of them, men and women, can do 20 years in prison for some wild hallucination of terrorism. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Um, I could see the U.S. trying to make a play for that. I could see that because I think that they realize that Muhajirin are, I wouldn't call them hardliners, but they're very clear in terms that they are not pragmatic and that they want to have Islam and to be governed by Islam. That is why they came here, and most of them still hold on to that principle. So I could see the U.S. saying to Ahmed Shara, get rid of those troublemakers, and me and you, we gonna be cool. So I could see them trying to make a play for that, but I just don't see that that's going to happen. I don't think that there's a that would open a Pandora's box, and no, I don't see that. I don't see that. Macho Man is in the house, and he says, "Do you think a full-scale war could happen south of Syria with Israel?" Yeah, I do. I don't think it's going to happen just yet, but it's not going to be long because the two sides, the Israelis, are not going to stop until you show them something militarily, and it's going to reach a point where Syria's hand is forced, and hopefully the Turks will be willing to jump in and to pitch in and to help, realizing that their national security will also be threatened should Syria be occupied by the Israelis. I'm hoping for that, and may Allah help to unite the brothers in Turkey and in Syria. Ameen. Okay, we've got Bloodwork here who says, the secularists almost won the elections, though. Imamoglu beat all Erdogan candidates in Istanbul. I think you overestimate the public awareness. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because it's pretty much as you said in Istanbul. Turkey is about more than just Istanbul. So I think that um, that in the general sense, people understand it and get it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Istanbul is not important because it's very important. It's not the capital, but it's kind of like New York is not the capital of America, but it's doggone important. And even though Washington people live in Washington are going to get upset by that, but the point of the matter is that Ankara is the capital, but Istanbul is where is where a lot of the action is. So yeah, I do think that there's a lot of support there, but countrywide, I think that that the Turks get it a lot more than maybe you might be realizing. But we're gonna be following this thing up. We're gonna wait and see how it goes. Um, let's see here. We've got Okay, let's see. We've got Mustafa Sheikh who says, Brother, I did a presentation and report on you and also mentioned Abdul Samad on your reporting after the siege of Aleppo back in high school around 8 or 9 years ago. May Allah bless you. Wow. I'd love to see that. If you could direct message me and you still have it, brother, please do send it. I would love to see that. That would be something to see. All right, Mustafa Sheikh is still here, and he says, when do you think the war with Israel will happen, and how many years do you think it will take for Israel to fall? Well, first of all, I couldn't tell you how long it would take for Israel to fall because we don't know when or if that war would start. I believe that it will, but we'll have to wait and see how that's going to play out. I do think that there'll be shots fired from both sides within the year, or I should say before the end of this year. I do believe that. I don't think that it's going to be quite as long as maybe some people think because the Israelis, as I said, they're just not going to stop. And that's their method of operation. So they're going to keep going until somebody says, look, it's time to stop. And I think that that will be coming maybe sooner than most people realize. I sure hope so. Um, we've got here uh, the Access M says, Salam, Brother Bilal. What are your thoughts on Qatar? I have thought about doing hijrah there. I don't want to be in a state that is complicit against Islam. Qatar's a nice place. It's very clean. It's safe. Um, depending on your skill set, you could earn a decent living. Your children can learn can learn Islam. There are great masajid which are well looked after. And after having said that, they host the biggest military base for the United States of America in the Middle East. The flights that take off, the drone strikes that kill Islamic fighters and the Muslims take off from Qatar. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. But then again, that's going to go back to who you are and what you're trying to do. If you're the type of person that just ignores those types of things, and there are a lot of people who ignore them, you'll talk to some of the brothers there and they just don't want to talk about it. Um, then yeah, I guess it'll work. But I can't feel good about that, brother. I just can't. Really, I just can't. And it hurts me to see that a Muslim country would host those awful Americans and letting their drones take off from their territory to kill other Muslims. Brother, I'm just not there, man. Allahu Akbar. I'm just not there. Um, okay, I would, before we get into the next question, and we want to let everybody know it's the 27th night of Ramadan. Please do send in your questions, comments, and concerns. We want to hear from you. But before we go on to the next one, we want to go back and we want to talk about something very briefly. Brothers and sisters, we are working on Voices of Truth. Voices of Truth is a project where we are documenting the atrocities which were committed by the Esed family so that it will be clear to people for all time how the Esed family debilitated the Syrian people. They starved them, they imprisoned them, they disappeared them. And it's very important that this is well documented, and we need your help. Please, brothers and sisters, do visit our crowdfunding page. It's right there on the screen, medina.com/voices of truth. Medina.com/voices of truth. It is a project wherein we are doing extensive interviews with people all around the country. I am heading this project and I really need your help. Guys, if you can donate anything, 10, 20, $100, anything, it would be on your scales of Hasanat, particularly this 27th night of Ramadan. So do take a look at it. You'll even see a portion of an interview that's there by one sister who was in the Esed prison. There were children there. Uh, take a look at it. Medina.com/voices of truth. We really need your help. Okay, let's go back here and let's go back here. Yes. Okay. Let's take a look and let's see if we can do one or two more. Um, okay. Um, okay. Abu Zakaria, let's go back into what he says. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khaira for all your work. My apologies if you've already addressed this. What can you tell us about allegations of the Syrian government massacring Christian civilians? Look, I'm not going to pretend that some Christians were not affected by some of the stupidity that some of the brothers did. But after having said that, in no way, shape, form, or fashion is the new government targeting Christian communities at all. No way. That's just not happening. Um, as you know, I don't always agree with the head of the Syrian government, but I'm not going to unjustly accuse him. I'm not going to do that. And I really don't see that that is what's happening here on the ground. And Allah knows best. Joad is here and he says, Salam Aki, should we boycott the UAE? They are the most anti-Muslim, anti-Islam of all Muslim nations. European nations are more Islam friendly than the UAE. All right, look, guys, I'm going to give it to you straight. If ever I was going to encourage someone to boycott a Muslim country, it would be the United Arab Emirates. They are against any type of Islamic activism. They are at the forefront of the rapes and the killings which took place in Sudan by backing Hameti and the rapid support forces. Um, uh, they've lost territory. They've even lost the presidential palace, where Burhan, who heads the Sudanese military, is now in the presidential palace, which was taken from the RSF. So I would say if there was any country that ever needed boycotting, it's the United Arab Emirates. They are anti-Islam. I'm talking about the leadership. I'm not talking about necessarily the average Emirati. And yes, they should be boycotted big time. And I stand by that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna get ready to run, but we're gonna just ask you one last time. Please just stay with us. If you haven't visited our crowdfunding page, that's medina.com/voices of truth, documenting the atrocities committed by the Esed family. Please do so now. We really need your help. I'm heading this project and I can't do it without you. $10, $20, $100, whatever you can do, it would be on your scales, Mizan Hasanatek. All right, guys, we're gonna call it even for tonight. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, coming at you live. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.